Who are you?
Well, you got the party line, sweetheart.
976.
976.
It's all over the place.
Party.
It's the new way to get together.
Some call for a fun time.
I'm here, baby.
Some call for a hot time.
You may not like it.
Some call for the last time.
I swear to God, I had no idea that she was married. You were married.
Sorry.
Party line. Some talk. Some listen. Some die.
Welcome back to the Drive-In Asylum double feature. And yes, the cat's out of the bag. One of the features next weekend is Murder by Phone, aka Bells. Such a stellar feature. John Houseman, Richard Chamberlain, killer telephones. I mean, our phones kill us now, don't they?
They take a long time. These ones are immediate killers. These ones don't sit around wasting time. I got to tell you, I loved this movie, watching it again. The music in this movie is great. It really goes a lot of places. And I like that they went to that bar and just Dracula's just drinking in the bar. Like nobody seems to be all that upset about it.
I think it was an hallucination, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just think Dracula's the fuck up to this whole plan. Like these aliens had some kind of plan, and Dracula's just like, yeah, I ain't going with it. Like,
Dracula was not a team player when all is said and done.
No. If you're building a team of monsters, I would not put Dracula on it. I would not build a team of monsters. It doesn't seem to be the right thing to do. But were I, if you said, Sam, you must build a team of monsters, would not put a Dracula on it. I said a lot of anti-vampire stuff while Bill and I were watching this too, so I have to come out as I know it's problematic, but I am anti-vampire, so
it was
a lot of anti-Transylvanian things, and I just think it's time to own up to it.
It was disturbing, but Dracula really, I have to admit, Dracula was the one who was just not holding up his end of the bargain in this movie. He was always sneaking around and violating bodily autonomy, like, going up to these women and feeling them up in bed.
Yeah. Like some Draculas have class. This Dracula seemed to be, I'm not going to lie, kind of a creep.
He definitely was no Frank Langella.
No. And the most afraid Dracula I am because I thought he was going to steal my mom from my dad.
What?
My mom had never mentioned another man being attractive when I was a kid. And when Dracula 1980 came out with Frank Langella, it was all she could talk about.
Okay.
It was about how hot Frank Langella was and how beautiful he was. And my dad's pick was Margot Kidder and my mom's was Frank Langella. I think those were their hall passes.
To that end, I really enjoyed this film's portrayal of Dracula because he had blue skin and he looked weird. And that's how I want my vampires to look. I don't want them to look like Frank Langella. Yeah. I do like that movie, but, I like the more animalistic vampires, like Salem's Lot is my favorite vampire movie of all time. Oh. And this kind of had that same feel to it. Like Dracula was not sexy. He was clearly a monster.
Yeah. I really like that Frankenstein had a green tinge to his skin as well.
Yeah, why? Why did it have to be green?
I mean, I think we've always just accepted that Frankenstein's green at this point. I don't know when that came up. Was it, I guess, when the posters were made for it? He had for the Universal one? Maybe, and we're like, yeah, I guess he's green. We just went with it.
I guess, yeah. Somehow that became a thing, but Assignment Terror wasn't afraid to go there, even though they changed his name.
Yeah, they're like, this is as close as we can get to not screwing up the Universal copyrights, so that we don't get sued.
Instead of You know, they'd walk right up to it like, this is the Frankie Chong monster or whatever
Yeah.
they said it was.
And yeah, the front and Teo Tung, the the mummy. Like, okay.
Yeah, Blackula and Count Yorga also had some scary vampires in them that did not look like human beings. Although the ones in Blackula seem to have the ability to appear to other people as if they were normal.
Yeah.
And then eventually they're like these ghoulish looking things walking towards them. So Count Yorga, I remember their vampires looked a little scary. Definitely dead.
Robert Quarry's a scary looking man, is what you're saying.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like the. It's funny because Mexico does it too. The Abbott and Costello meet Dracula kind of thing of like, let's put all these monsters in the same movie and see how it works out, and they always end up fighting. Like they're just predispositioned to hate one another.
Wolfman was bringing it constantly. Wolfman was definitely the aggressor.
He is the aggressor, and
Instigator.
but I know every time he showed up, it made the movie better for you. So I do know your true love of him.
Paul Naschy had a bull neck in this movie. It was amazing. He looked wider than he has. And the print of this movie was fantastic.
Yeah.
While we were watching it, the last time I saw this, it looked like shit. I guess I never saw the fixed up version. Wow. What a difference. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful film.
There's the one scene inside the catacombs where the girl is in like the pink dress and the camera's moving back from her. Like, wow, that's a really nice shot. Like, this is, it has way more care about it than it should. So, people, I would have gone and seen it no matter how junky it was. And I love movies where this movie has two things going for it: a great looking lab and so much furniture. This movie has like some astounding furniture in it.
Oh my god,
that room was just filled with stuff.
That orange donut chair was killing me.
I was thinking about. It was beautiful.
And yeah, the Wolfman hamster wheeled the mummy to death.
I mean, that's how you do it. I like how they set up early too, where he's like, if you fall in love with me, you're probably gonna have to kill me. That's my curse.
I don't know why they didn't do it right then and there. Why did he transform? Like, she stopped before shooting him.
Yeah.
And the camera kind of like goes up into the air and you don't really see what happened there. But why wouldn't she just end it right there? I don't get it. I mean, maybe she could have lived.
I think it's the doomed nature of Spanish horror heroines, maybe.
You're damn right I was going to faint over that furniture, Chris Fisnick. It was just amazing. I love that little corner bar.
Oh, yeah.
Where he just like walked up there and ordered, and that was when he thought he saw Dracula drinking. And listen, I have no problem with Dracula going out to the bar and having a couple social drinks, because that's something that Dracula never does. It's good for him to get out. Maybe it would make him less antisocial.
More socialization, like when you get a new dog, you want to have Dracula get out there.
Like, can you do you and me do me? I mean, like, why do you have to be so secretive about this life you're living, Dracula? Just come out about it.
I mean, he only goes to the Monster Club. That's the only club he'll go to. Him and the Shriekers go there.
That movie's so good. It's so good.
I love that movie so much.
I was just listening to the soundtrack the other night.
Yeah.
Monsters rule, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder why Paul brought up like that it never works. It's just the plan. It seems like a great plan. It's like, if we had every monster, humanity would be afraid of us. But would they be afraid of us? Because it seems like in this world, like you said when we were watching it, Bill, that everybody has come to accept that these monsters live. You know what I mean? Like, no one's like shocked by them.
This was a world where these monsters were acknowledged to have been real at some point.
Yeah. So I mean, yes, they're still frightening, but it's not like if suddenly an alien race showed up just now and we turned on the news and they're like, "Hey, we got Wolfman and a Dracula and a werewolf and a mummy." Yeah, I mean, we already said, but you know what I mean. We got all these monsters. Cool.
This is a world where vampires are real. So in that kind of a world, what would aliens even mean? Like nobody would be
Yeah.
shocked by that.
I like the end of Aliens. Right. The big problem is we didn't understand that humans have passion. We didn't understand we were coming to a world that was 80% water, and that humans have passion, and that the common cold can kill us. Aliens, always dumb. Also, the police in this movie, beyond ineffectual. May as well not even been in the movie.
Yeah, there was nothing going on in this investigation. Nothing. It became moot. I mean, the only
Yeah,
reason that he was there was to drag her out of that whole mess before it all came crashing down. Oh, big shout out to Patty Shepard, by the way, playing Ilsa. That's our beloved Countess Wandesa from Werewolf versus Vampire Woman,
yep.
and a couple other things. Sam, right?
Edge of the axe. Yeah, she's in a ton of stuff. Oh, wait, what if I could look up Patty Shepard's?
Well, you knew
Career.
Edge of the Axe. I thought, you
Oh,
had this stuff like in that
well, I mean,
memory
I
bank.
think about Edge of the Axe seriously, like on a more than daily basis.
Yeah.
I really think about it a lot, especially the beginning with that awesome scene with the car wash. Yeah, she's in Ringo: The Mark of Vengeance, which is a not an Italian movie, a Spanish movie of an Italian movie. She's also in Lucky the Inscrutable, the really cool Jess Franco comic book ripoff movie, which is pretty fun. And then she's in a movie called The Fickle Finger of Fate, which has nothing to do with laughing. They just took the title from it, which I think is kind of funny. And then she is also in 20 Paces to Death, which is a pretty good Jalo. And as Bill said, Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman, My Dear Killer, Witch's Mountain, Crypt of the Living Dead, a.k.a. Anna Queen of the Vampires, as we all know. The Man Called Noon. The Killer is one of 13. She's in that Jalo with Paul Naschy. The Stranger and the Gunfighter. She's in Slugs, Rest in Pieces. She's in a ton of stuff.
She's in Slugs.
Yeah, she was. So if you and Edge of the Axe is her last role, but she really hit a lot of the Spanish horror and Euro horror there. So it's pretty cool.
Patty Shepard was in Young Hannah, Queen of the Vampires, but she wasn't Hannah. She was another character in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah was played by a woman whose name
I just
Teresa
watched her.
Gimpera.
Yeah, because I just watched. She's in a ton of Jose Larraz's movies. So I'm really excited. I hit every Jose Larraz movie this week except his last one, which is a TV movie documentary.
Of course you did.
Yes, it was the only one I couldn't find. I found every other one, so I'm pretty excited. So if you want to know way too much about that director, not many people in the U.S. care about, come to my site and read all about it.
See, it really is a world. You could just go and watch all those movies. And
I like that Jose Larraz made the same movie like 5 times. Like he would hit it's a house in London in the woods surrounded by fog. It might not be there. It might be there. And some woman's going crazy inside it. Okay, like let's just make it a couple times until I get the symptoms. And then that's the really good one of it. And also Vampires is real good. And Stigma is pretty good too. If you haven't seen that, Bill, I really dig that too. It's a weird kind of sort of vampire movie. And I really like Black Candles, but it's completely junk. It's like as bad. It's like Thundercrack level junk. It's pretty bad, but I like it. It's about a house full of devil worshippers that all just like to have sex. I mean, what else do we need from a movie?
that's the one. Yeah, I kind of need to see that one.
I think you'll like it. The new Severin
reason.
kind of is pretty good. Yeah. So I think he's a really. The thing that's sad is even within the Loraz's later comedy movies that he made, like you can still see like glimpses of wow, he's really a really great director, and he's also starting as a comic book artist. I think really helping. He's really able to frame shots and think through shots much differently than a lot of other folks would be. So I really like this movie, The National Mummy, a lot. It's a comedy about mummies and a whole house full. There's a wolf man and a vampire, a whole house full of monsters. And there's one scene, Bill, where there's a picnic, and all the different maids keep getting killed by by people. Like their hands keep getting cut off and stuff. But it's all like played for comedy. It's a pretty strange film. It also has a mummy that if you take her bandages off, she assaults men. So go Jose Loraz. But Black Candles is out from Severin, and boy, it's maybe not something you play in mixed company.
You always offend people, Sam.
Oh my God, I have a story to when I show the movies for this week. I have a story about that. So,
Well,
let's do it then. Yeah. So I'm excited. These finally came in. As you know, Bill and I are doing some commentaries for Visual Vengeance. These are the first two movies they're releasing. Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder from Hell, aka Japanese Evil Dead. What's really cool about these packages are you get more than the movie. You get you get two different sleeves. If you like to change up your sleeves, you get with this one, you get a card for an imaginary video store. It's pretty cool. You get a sticker with the logo. You get a sticker of the movie. You get these stickers so you can pretend that you rented this in the 80s.
Those are brilliant.
Yeah. You get a book about the movie, a poster, and you get an alternate cover, which is pretty cool. So I really like that they're really just kind of jamming these with different stuff. And the other one, Bill also saw the LA Age Jabbers out too. I haven't got that one yet, but I'm excited to see it. And then the Necrophiles, which has a great cover of a monstrous baby floating through space.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that cover and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. This whole movie is like that. And it came with a condom, and it says not for human use. So I guess Angelo can use, your cubby can use this what he wants to.
Wow.
This also comes with a bunch of stickers, and
for a Chihuahua, that looks like a pretty large rubber.
he's just going to put it over his whole body and just see what happens. But super excited to get the first two of these, and a lot more of these coming out. So pretty exciting. This is the offending one. Called Epics has a whole new series of Sylvia Christel movies they're putting out, and this one is Naked Over the Fence. There's 3 that are coming out over the next couple months, and I was in the pool when these came, and Becca got them. She's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a Sylvia Christel movie they sent to me to review." And she looked at the back and read like a little bit. And she was like, "Well, I'm so glad we owned this," and threw it down.
She was in the Nude Bomb with Dawn Adams. She was in the Get Smart movie.
Emmanuel, Lady Charlie, yeah. So there's a whole bunch of these coming. This one has a new 4K transfer. It's got tons of interviews, behind the scenes stuff. It's pretty wild, and then trailers for her movies too. And there's only 1,000 copies that come with the soundtrack along with it. So I'm really excited about that. So a whole bunch of those coming from Called Epics. Got this from Paramount. I'm moving up in the world. I'm sure everybody's excited about the Sandra Bullock movie. But hey, Paramount sending stuff. Finally, this week, if you go to your dollar store, your Dollar General, not Dollar General, sorry, whatever one's a dollar. Dollar General is not a dollar store, but you know what I mean. You can get a lot of cool movies. They got Posse, which pretty much could have been a canon movie. Mortal Engines, which came out was a big movie, and now I'm buying it in a dollar store. Don't Let Them In, which I got snowed for the case, and 2 canon movies I didn't own, believe it or not. How didn't I own Breakin'? I don't know, because it's been out of print for a while. So,
Sam,
yeah,
that is shocking.
Canon bought a whole chain of movie theaters, Bill, in England, and Menahem Golan said, I don't want to show any fucking Disney movies here. So they actually made a studio. Thanks, Vince, Dollar Tree. They actually made a studio to make kids' movies. This is one of them, Rumpelstiltskin, with Amy Irving in it and Billy Barty. It's pretty frightening, actually. But they made 8 children's movies and made them just for their theaters. And MGM is re-releasing a lot of this stuff. So there's a lot of cool, like New York, the Liza Minnelli movie is $1. The MGM one of it. It hasn't been on DVD in forever. You can get it at Dollar Tree for $1.25. So there's a lot of the Shudder movies that have been playing recently. You can get them there. So if you do like having physical media, I recommend it. I have not seen Let's Scare Julie. That's at the dollar store, but I'll have to check it out.
Is it the sequel to Let's Scare Jessica to Death?
I hope so.
Jessica's dead now. Let's scare Julie.
I'm really excited about these Visual Vengeance Blu-rays because I think we've talked about them on the show before, Bill, but these are literally movies that maybe have never even, like L.A. Age Jabber, he self-made it and sold 1,800 copies to video stores across the country. And that's it. That's all that movie had ever been released. So the fact that it exists again and it's in a better format, you know, it's pretty
That's
exciting.
amazing to me, though. Like that's way more interesting than a lot of things I see lately.
Yeah, it's really wild. I spoke to the director yesterday, and he said that, you know, when he made – so here's the crazy story about it. It was originally going to be shot in 16 millimeter. The camera broke 10 minutes into shooting, and they were doing video assist, and they couldn't get another camera. So he said, let's just take the video assist camera and shoot it all on video, realizing that probably the only place he could sell it at that point was going to be directly to mom and pop video stores. But at that point, you know, in the mid-90s, late 80s to mid-90s, you could do that. There was that whole channel set up to sell them. And that's what he did. And he made his money back, more than made his money back on it. So, but it's exciting. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff. I think probably by this Friday, they'll probably announce the next round of them. And hopefully there's one of the ones that we did so we can talk about it. But we've done 4 so far. And it's pretty exciting. These movies are wild, though, because like I said, like they don't – it's almost like the next level of regional filmmaking, like where regional filmmaking went, you know? It's like that's how they made these.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering while we were watching the movie, this movie had 4 directors. And that's amazing to me, and yet it isn't, because this seems like the craziest shit pieced together, you know, like a Jerry Warren patch job sometimes. But there really is, like you mentioned, the photography is beautiful. The soundtrack is cohesive, and it's got that beautiful Exotica soundtrack.
Do you think each monster got his own director? They were like, this is my director. How did we not get a Paul Naschy in a bathtub scene in this movie?
He didn't write the script, probably.
Yeah, exactly. His are always like, you know, I think intrinsically, this movie needs me in a bathtub and a girl getting in the bathtub with me. Otherwise,
I don't even remember a love scene in this movie for him.
No, he really did. It's really not what you expect of his movies.
If it did happen, it had to have happened because she was in love with him by the end of the movie, because she had to kill him. And, you know, the same. Oh, by the way, this is way before Night of the Werewolf, and she died at the end of this too. The woman that has to kill him. Sometimes she dies, sometimes she doesn't. So
it's really like a Death Wish thing. Like I always wonder in Death Wish, like why would anyone date Paul Kersey? Like everyone that he's ever been with dies, and yet, you know what I mean? He keeps dating. You would think if 3 different women I dated horribly died because of it, I'd be like, no, I'm done. And you know, Paul Naschy's character does the same thing. He's like,
he did write the script. Paul Naschy did write the script for this movie, and it is strange that he didn't put a bathtub scene in for himself. Maybe it was all that room that he had to get. He had to get all that stuff into his script, so there wasn't time for a bathtub scene.
I mean,
I'm disappointed by it personally.
I'm not going to say it was a failure, but I think that it may have been. I think one of the other things too is filming kept getting interrupted a lot. So like there were a lot of financial difficulties. So there were whole segments of the script that had a flying saucers and even a golem in it, and they didn't have enough money to film it.
Wow,
So,
I can't imagine this movie with even more monsters in it.
yeah, yeah, which is, I mean, I would love that. I'm seeing what other facts I can glean about this. Yeah, they don't really get into the. It's funny. Usually, there's a big chunk of his movie spent explaining the origin of the werewolf, and this movie really jumps across it.
I should have stressed, John. I meant by love scene, I meant Paul Naschy gets naked with a woman who probably moments before their love scene was wearing a backlit nightgown.
Yeah,
That's what I meant by a love scene.
not a pledge of love. Bill was talking about dirty love.
It was my mind was in the gutter. Yeah.
He was
Sorry.
thinking about that werewolf on human love, whatever you call it.
Well, awkward silence.
No,
Um,
I think I'm excited we watched it though. I'm seeing those trailers for next week that really made me sad. Seeing the Bells trailer, I was like, God damn
I knew I was going to feel guilty. I knew
No,
I
you're
was
not-
going to feel
it's
guilty
fine.
about it.
No, don't feel guilty. I'm just gonna miss everybody next week while I'm
We'll miss you.
designated driving everybody around
Yeah.
unfamiliar streets of Livonia. So yes.
Let's talk about some other Monster Rally films. Like, what are some that immediately come to mind? There were a lot of Universals. We would have to talk about those, I guess.
Yeah.
But what else? Can you think of other Monster Rallies?
Yeah, there's obviously Santo and Blue Demon versus the Monsters.
Yes.
It has tons, and instead of a creature from the Black Lagoon, it has a weird like sea serpent-y kind of guy that has like eyes on the sides of his head, which are pretty awesome. And there's a couple of Santo movies where they kind of go up against multiple monsters kind of coming together. Obviously, Monster Squad's another one too. That is, we did. Remember, I don't know if you remember a couple years ago on the site we did a thing where if you could build your Monster Squad of any movie, who would they be from? Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, let me look it up because you actually answered the question.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, let me look it up. I can guess who you picked for your creatures.
Yeah, I picked the Frankenstein 80.
Yeah,
he would have been my Frankenstein monster.
yeah,
Paul Naschy, my werewolf, naturally.
yeah. You said my squad would be Mr. Barlow from Salem's Lot,
Yes.
Eddie Quist from The Howling, the Mummy from Dawn of the Mummy, Mosaic from Frankenstein 80, and Slithus is my creature.
Oh,
And I
that's
said-
fantastic.
I said, I had all your picks figured out, but I thought Waldemar Daninsky would be your werewolf. And you said, for sex purposes only, Eddie is way scarier, and he understands the importance of branding.
I forgot it was supposed to be. I don't know what made me not say Paul Naschy.
I also asked you, who would be your sexy monster squad? And you said, Mosaic is at the top of the list and Waldemar. Honestly, that's all I need. If I had to, I'd pick William Smith from Grave of the Vampire, Arnold Vosloo from The Mummy. I hate that movie, but there's no such thing as a hot mummy. And the creature from Terrorvision because it has a lot of mouths.
Oh God, I don't even remember.
Becca's picks were Bill Paxton from Near Dark, Reverend Lowe from Silver Bullet as her werewolf, the Monster Squad Frankenstein, the Brendan Fraser mummy, and a killer clown for her creature because she doesn't like any of the creatures from the Black Lagoon. So I thought that was good. And mine were Counting Down from Son of Dracula. I had to pick goofy ones.
Wow.
Uh, Christopher Lee Hammer version for Frankenstein. The Aztec Mummy. Sybil Danning, obviously, is my Wolfman. And Uncle Gilbert from the Munsters is my creature. So that's a kind of fun game you can play, is put together your own monster squad.
Sybil Danning was your werewolf.
Yeah, who else? Yeah.
Disturba. She had that hand thing going like.
Is there a female werewolf? I don't think there is. There aren't
Well,
many.
there were in The Howling. There
Yeah.
were female werewolves.
Yeah.
Marsha.
I picked
Everybody else at the colony.
I picked the whole beach from Blood Beach as my sea creature.
Aw, that's cute.
Yeah. There was a little Blood Beach moment in the first movie tonight where that girl kind of got sucked under the waves there for a second.
It became a verb. She got blood beached.
She did. She got blood beached. Y'all got blood beached. But yeah, I'm trying to think what other ones were months. I think that was the whole goal of that Dark Universe thing. To get to the point where we had a movie that brought everybody together.
Mike, we don't know what we're watching in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I only programmed a week in advance, so.
Oh, I forgot
Stay
Werewolf
tuned.
Woman. Thank you, Mike, for reminding me about Werewolf Woman. And there's La Loba, which is a Mexican one, and there's Santa versus the She-Wolves. And how could I forget that movie? That's
So many to choose from.
So many to choose from. Yeah, 2 weeks from today feels like 10 years. Who knows what we'll pick?
Stay forever.
It's going to be Manhattan Baby twice, is what it's going to be. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine that? Oh, that's the last episode. Thanks.
Even just once would be pushing it.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to do Manhattan Baby sometime.
Someday, yeah.
It's inevitable. We talk about it on almost every episode.
Yeah. Mike's going to be in Europe.
Are you going on a buying trip with Mr. Barlow, Mike Justice, to Europe?
Wow. This seems like
That's exciting.
Seems like he wants to tell us a story. And so I think we should let him.
No, he wants us to show Manhattan Baby while he's not here. You know you can watch it overseas, Mike.
Yeah.
And it'll be really late there. So, and you'll be jet lagged. You'll have nothing else to do but to tune in to the Drive-In Asylum double feature.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, what? They're showing Manhattan Baby. Ah, fuck. These guys are getting too big for their britches, they'll say.
Grace Jones in Vamp. She was pretty scary. I don't know. That movie's not good, is it?
Vamp? I want to like it. Really, I got to sit down and just watch it the whole way through.
Yeah. I've seen it like twice, I think, and neither time did I think, oh.
I like the idea of it. The idea of it works. I don't know if it's good. It came out around the same time as The Hunger, and I'm sure The Hunger is a lot better. You know?
Yeah. Well, The Hunger was like 3 years before Vamp.
Yeah. But
But it was a perfect vehicle for Grace Jones in a horror film.
Yeah. Way better than her being Mayday in the James Bond movies.
Oh, I love Mayday.
I do too, but even as a kid, I'm like, she's not fucking Roger Moore. She's going to break his hip. Like when that scene happens and she gets in bed with him, I'm like, I don't get it.
I didn't understand that when I was young. I was like, she was just trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, how is somebody who is trying to kill you, how are you going to trust them to call a truce and just to screw you?
There's a thin line between love and hate, maybe.
James Bond, Mayday's moment of redemption really makes me choke up.
Aw.
When she sacrifices herself by wheeling the bomb out of the mine shaft. Of course, Grace Jones would be in the mine shaft.
I like those Bond movies like that, and like Jaws is like that too, where they're like, you know what? We like him so much, we got to turn these guys good by the end of it. They have to redeem. Jaws has to redeem himself, and he finds a a country girl that has the same braces as him. And when they should have cut to if that movie was made today, there would have been a post-credit sequence where we saw Jaws' baby get born and it opens up its mouth to cry and already has metal teeth.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, he was like killing people and like a ruthless killer a movie before. Next movie, he's like, you know what? I've found respect for James Bond.
Yeah, all he needed was just a little loving, and it changed his life.
It would have been like if they made Goldfinger and Oddjob didn't die. And then at the end, you see Oddjob with the girl with the bowler hat on too, and you're like, "Oh, that's all Oddjob needed to find was like a girl with a hat."
But then there were still all these people that he killed, even after his sudden change of character. What about all those people that he murdered?
Like Oddjob, I mean Jaws and Oddjob, but Jaws killed a lot of agents. Like he was a horrifying man, but I guess now he's love conquers all.
Well, I guess he was an assassin. He was a paid assassin, so he wasn't a serial killer. Do you think he's still
going to do that job? And he has to like explain it to his new wife. He's like, "Now, when I leave, I can't call you. I'm going to other countries to kill people with my teeth."
Like True Lies.
Yeah, in a very True Lies situation. Yeah. I think too much about the scenes in James Bond movies we didn't see where they have to explain things to their significant others,
Yeah, I mean, but James Bond doesn't want to get tied down to one person.
No. It's like the same thing is in Man with the Golden Gun. I think about this a lot, that like the Man with the Golden Gun built that cigarette case that shoots one bullet and that's all he needs. Like, this is all trackable to you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like these all are pre-internet, the CSI stuff that we know about today. They're like, oh, this guy killed somebody with a special bullet that came out of a cigarette, and obviously it was Scaramanga, the guy with 3 tits, and we have to go find him now. He has a third nipple, Bill. That's real weird.
Paul Naschy was carrying around a special bullet to kill himself with.
Yeah.
And I think he had a pistol too. It was all loaded and ready with a silver bullet.
He's like, now I just need to find a girl to love me.
Yeah.
So I can say, now that you love me, they think they're getting a ring from him, and he gives him a gun. He goes, now you have to kill me, and you must die too.
It was a trap, a love trap. You know what? I just remembered last night that movie Curse of the Black Widow.
Uh-huh.
Do you love that movie, first of all? Yeah. I totally forgot. In 1979, they rebroadcast it with a new title, and it was called The Love Trap. Believe it or not. I was like, God, what does that have to do with anything? The Love Trap.
Man. But they did it.
Yeah, but anyway, that was just shocking to me. I totally forgot about that.
Man. The other thing that I love that doesn't happen in this movie is whenever we go back into the origin, which is different every time, of how El Hombre Lobo became a werewolf. My favorite being that he was attacked by the abominable snowman, or that werewolf women tied him up and made love to him for years and then bit him.
I know, they were like cannibal women or something.
Yeah, and every time I see one of his origins, I'm like, that's really not how you become a werewolf. But you know what? Like, who am I to tell Paul Naschy, right?
His script, his way.
He'll just do it. And, he he did it, like 11 times? Every time's a little different.
Well, we were talking about the lack of a sex scene in this movie. And at least if there was, I did leave for a little bit, and unless it happened while I was away. But this was actually, by the time it came out, it was 1970. And Frankenstein's Bloody Terror was the year before. It was originally shot as Mark of the Wolfman, I think, or Mark of the Werewolf. I can't remember which version. But it's sort of like... it's of its time because they weren't pushing the envelope with the sex stuff too much yet.
Well,
So
they
that
couldn't
came later.
do, especially in the Spanish cuts, because
Yeah.
Franco was still in power and the Catholic Church also. So it wasn't until like 76, 77. I think it's really funny that there's a whole trend of Spanish movies that were called S film, which stood for sex film. And they also have another title which translates to unraveling. They're all movies that have long scenes where women get like stripped, which the National Mummy has a scene where the mummy gets her clothes slowly taken off throughout her bandages slowly taken off throughout the movie. And it's like the big selling point of that movie.
I hate when that happens.
There aren't that many. Well, I guess
Same.
we can count the Tom Cruise one, but there aren't many sexy female mummy kind of stories. But that one is, I guess. John must have got a way better cut of this movie than we did. So, or we were both out of the room during the sex.
Yeah,
scene.
it could have happened while I was away.
Bill and I both had to leave and hide during those scenes because they don't make us feel comfortable. We're not good. We can't really discuss them.
We cringe when we see sex on the screen.
I don't like it.
Do you remember that feeling of watching a sex scene while your parents were watching the movie with you?
Oh,
It was the worst.
We watched Heavy Metal when I was a kid, and like it starts with a whole bunch. Like, there's like that whole scene where the taxi guy gets like ridden, and I was like, ooh, even at a young age, I feel comfortable watching this in the same room as my parents.
You wanted to see it, and that's why you were disturbed that your parents were sitting there too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, could everybody please leave the room so I can think about this for an extended period?
No one will know I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because whenever these scenes happen in the movies now, Becca's always like, why did they have to put this in here? There's no reason. And I'm like, well, foreign investors aren't going to pay for it.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be in there if there wasn't a reason.
There's people that want to see this, and
Well, we're winding down, I think. Anything else you want to touch on?
I am excited that we watched these. It felt like a good thematic run of movies this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad everybody else came out.
Lots of mummy traction. We got lots of mummy screen time tonight. Something you don't normally see.
Yeah. Mike Justice saw the most uncomfortable. He saw Tintoretto with his grandmother. That feels like a very uncomfortable watch.
How can a woman love two men? Oh, I couldn't imagine that.
No.
Well, I watched Pink Flamingos with my grandmother.
Really?
At one point, yeah. Now, I'm talking about when you're a little kid, and I was in my 20s. I went on vacation with my family, and I brought a bunch of VHS tapes, and it was the 90s.
Yeah.
And one of the ones I brought was Pink Flamingos, so we watched it, and my dad was like, "This is the worst movie ever made." He just couldn't get over it. He was like, "I can't believe this movie, but it has a great soundtrack."
Yeah.
My grandma just laughed. She was like, "I can't believe y'all are looking at something like that." She was a proper Southern lady.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever watch that with my family. I'm trying to think
What's the most uncomfortable thing you ever watched with your family?
Oh, man. We watched a lot of HBO stuff together, so. Oh, you know what I can think? My grandfather was in love with The Bad Lieutenant and would watch it all the time and make us watch it with him. And it was just like, this is, there's that scene where he makes the girls, when he pulls over the girls in the beginning and makes them simulate blowing somebody. And my grandfather's like, he thought it was like a comedy, and he would just like uproariously laugh out loud during it. And my mom was really upset about it. She was like, please, we don't want to watch this movie anymore. Yeah, I wouldn't watch that either.
Last House on the Left, yeah. That would be disturbing.
Yeah. I think I've mostly kept the weirder movies that I watch away from my family for the most part.
There were a couple, though, that like Halloween. Everybody watched Halloween, but we
Yeah.
watched Halloween on HBO, and the sex scene came on, which is really actually pretty tame, I guess. But
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I just wanted to crawl under the rug.
Yeah. I can't. Oh, you know what? I remember we got sent out of the room when American Gigolo was on. Supposedly that movie was too dirty for us. Then I watched it years later, and I'm like, what were they watching? And
They
were
just thought it was extra dirty because there's penis in it.
probably that's what it was. We did watch Cruise. We watched Cruising every Thanksgiving together. So you know,
Right.
I mean, right? Doesn't every family? Isn't that what you guys all watch?
You know, maybe everyone wouldn't go home so early if you could find that missing 25 minutes that Friedkin cut out of it.
Yeah, they were like, hey, this year we got extra cranberries. You had that 25 minutes of cruising. You guys were all missing. Happy Thanksgiving. And then we all say a little prayer and we watch it together.
Creepy.
Yeah. It's the family that watches American Giallo together, stays together. So Bill and I are going to be together in person tomorrow. It's pretty exciting. I'm real excited about that.
Yeah, that's right. It's Sam's birthday. And I guess we should wish Sam a very happy birthday. What
No,
am
it
I
wasn't why I
thinking?
brought this up. It's not why I brought this up.
Well, you knew I was going to go there, though. I'm glad you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you reminded me.
Yeah.
See, I was thought the reason I never said anything was because I thought it was a surprise party.
I think it was too, and then my brother ruined the surprise.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
say anything about it, so that's why I wasn't
Yeah.
talking about
Also,
your
because
birthday.
I've told Becca for years how much I hate parties and gathering, and so therefore I was like, no, I don't want to do this. And she's like, well, what if just Bill came over? And I'm like, good, that's fine. And then somehow the guest list is a little bigger. Than
She
that.
read me the guest list, and it seemed pretty big.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people. But you know,
Is there going to be swimming?
there will be swimming. I guess it's a shark themed party too now. She bought a lot of shark plates. So that's exciting.
I'll have to remember to find my swim trunks.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I got in today and it was like the pool's like 85, so it's pretty warm. Basically what's gonna happen is Bill and I are just gonna watch I'm gonna put a trailer compilation on. Bill and I will just yell the name of them excitedly to each other, as we usually do when we get together. Say, oh my God.
Torso.
Wow. Psychosexual. There's the one torso one where like not sense, psycho. Like
Not since Psycho is one of the most overused lines.
Anytime I hear that, I'm like, you know what? Like they would always tell me in wrestling, like, don't ever compare yourself to anyone else because people will instantly make the comparison to you, and you will never. Do you know what I mean? Will poorly compare you to stuff. And same thing. It's like, don't say not since Psycho.
Not since Psycho, not since Deliverance, not since Rosemary's Baby, not since The Exorcist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other one from Carlo Ponte, the producer of Dr. Zhivago, and you're like, oh, what a lovely movie that was.
Yeah, people who love Dr. Zhivago should go see Torso.
They should. Wow.
It's a serious film.
It is a serious film about Morse code and signal kits being used out of a window that should not work.
It's sensitizing you to the fact that there may be somebody trapped in a closet with a broken mirror shard trying to signal you from the villa.
Yeah, I really don't get it, but
Susie Kendall made that so real.
Oh. I do love her though.
I love Susie Kendall. We saw her full screen at the drive-in. It was amazing.
Oh, we sure did. I'll just sneak on. Downstairs we'll be running what do you call it? Blizzard in a woman's skin. So as people like wander into the downstairs TV, they'll be like assaulted by that scene, the bad attack scene, just over and over again.
Oh my god, I think about that bat attack scene all the time.
It's great, isn't it?
You know, I love that. You know what movie I want to watch on the program sometime is Chosen Survivors.
Oh, that's a great movie. Yeah.
I think I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. So we'll wait until someone posts it on YouTube.
Yeah. That feels like I'm shocked that Newcastle After Dark's never put that one up. That feels like one of their kind of movies too.
They may have. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that they had up and it got taken down.
Yeah, I know.
Many lost episodes of Newcastle After
Oh.
Dark.
Yeah, we'll have to start brainstorming what's going to come up in 2 weeks. Who knows?
I know. Speaking of Newcastle After Dark, I want to get those guys back on the show sometime.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
The management.
Yeah, to have them back on. I love those guys.
Two
Not
dapper
just-
gents who love to talk about movies.
Yep. Yeah, we're not showing Nightwing though, just so you guys know. We're gonna do that.
That's another one that I keep. It's on my list to revisit because I used to hate it. It just did not deliver on the level that I wanted. I wanted it to be like Jaws, except with bats, and it kind of isn't. So
Yeah.
it wasn't as exciting anyway. So I just thought, oh, this is terrible. But I would probably like it if I watched it today.
Someone
Now that
else
I'm
said
old.
we should do a Jalo week again too. Maybe, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since we did them.
Yeah. I have to think of a good one to show. Probably Strip Nude for Your Killer would be a good one.
I want to show so many things. So
Yeah.
many things.
Yeah, I'm excited though. I mean, I'm glad everybody's sticking around and watching stuff and is excited about new stuff coming, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
We look forward to hanging out with you guys every week, and unless we need a break or something, And
Went to black.
sorry, I'm gonna
No.
fire the producers one of these
Hey,
days.
this week on my site. Oh, we showed Pin already, Mate.
Yeah, we watched Penn.
Yeah, we showed Pin way early. I love that movie. So, hey, if you come to my site this week, starting tomorrow, 9 a.m., it's Arnold Schwarzenegger week all week because it's Arnold's 75th birthday. How did we all get so old? So yeah, and Mike, I love that synopsis of it. That is completely not. I don't. How could you even write a sentence synopsis of what the fuck that movie's about? It's like,
It's a hot take.
yeah, it's like a movie where a woman goes nuts. Maybe also bats. Also, her family sucks. There's a lot going on in that movie.
She has a tough life.
She
And
does.
she pushes people down hillsides too.
I like you said to me at one point, it was like an hour in, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening in this movie?" And I'm like, I've seen it so many times. You're like, "You love this movie." I'm like, "I do," but I still don't really know. It's sometimes like what we're led to believe. Like, what does she know? What does her father know? What does her husband know? What do the people across the street know?
It was all very vague. And then at the end, she's like, "Oh, I guess it was me." Like, did she know? Did she know she's killing people? I don't know. She was
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah, and then like this is what always happens in these movies. This is a plot of many a genre. Woman has dreams and is in love with another woman that would ruin her life if anyone knew that she, was going down this path. But then she dreams that she kills this woman. But then the woman is really dead. But then the woman shows back up. And then you're like, what? I've seen this before. But
We saw it about 6 times at Giallapalooza.
yeah, and it's like, man, it's either that or someone's putting scalpels up your vagina. I mean, either way, I mean, it's one of this poor kid.
I'll never forget. Yeah, like the first movie at the Monsterama for Giallapalooza is What Have You Done to Solange, with some really excruciating sexual violence in it. And there were this young family that had brought their like 2 or 3 kids to the drive-in, like for the drive-in, watching monster movies at the drive-in. And then that happens in the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, and they
They
just like
slapped that X-ray up on the wall of like the vagina with a knife in it, and they're like, "Oh,
I think they packed up their sleeping bags and went back in the vehicle. They may have
Yeah.
left.
yeah, this isn't the fun stroll through Italy that you thought it would be."
It's kind of a bummer.
You know what? I was thinking about that movie today. That movie makes an astounding turn where the wife and the husband fix their problems really quickly. Right? Like,
Wow, yeah.
a lot of that movie is about him just being a horrible person. And she's like, you know what, Carlo? I still love you. And like, you know what? You're right. And they work it out.
At
And
the
then,
end of the movie, yeah, that's right. I had forgotten about that.
and then a whole bunch of girls get naked and smoke in the shower because Joe D'Amato shot it. You got that's for
That was the weirdest shower room I've ever seen.
It's like some kind of weird ancient Roman
Yeah,
room that's been fitted with a modern shower and everybody smokes in it.
ancient bathhouse.
It's an ancient bathhouse smoker place. In that movie, I was watching all the colors of Jean was on Shudder, so I put it on last night, and every time one of those trailers goes on, the trailer for that one, I was like literally bouncing off the walls like in excitement about how much I love it. Becca's like, you have seen all these movies before, and I'm like, no, I could see them again at any time.
Yeah, and
Come on. I mean, I just see the trailer for Wicked, and I get nuts. I tell you. Yeah. So yeah, Bill and I are going to be hanging out. There may be pictures. Who knows?
Well, we always say that, and there never are pictures, so that should tell you.
Becca tends to
everything you
take
need to know.
pictures of like party kind of things, though. So there might be pictures.
Pictures can be evidence, so
Yeah, exactly.
never forget that.
Excuse me. Yeah, it'll be a good time though.
All right. Well, I will see you tomorrow, and
Yeah.
Sam, you're not going to be here next weekend, so we'll miss you.
I'm going to send recipes though, so I'll send you videos of me doing the recipes. So we'll have that part of me. Maybe I'll do like a little report.
Now you're committed.
I'll do a little book report on each, like a 37-second Sam book report on each movie of why I like it.
There you go.
Could I keep it to 30 seconds? No, probably not.
I don't think you could, but
No.
yeah, I like the idea.
Yeah.
You can have
Maybe
as
I'll
long
do
as
that
you
and a
want.
little drink recipe for each one. And then I'll see you guys in 2 weeks for movies we don't know.
Yeah, who knows what'll end up on the show. But next weekend, make sure you come back and join me in welcoming Ben Scher, James Benge, and Meep from Cinema de Meep and the Retro Movie Love podcast. All three of those guys are going to be on the program at some point. I think Meep's only going to be on for segment 2 and segment 3. So James and Ben and I will be hanging out for first, second, and third segments. So make sure you come back and join us next week. And 2 more fantastic films. Till then, be safe, be well, and we'll see you then. Bye.
See you guys.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or